think of Chicago, you think of Ray Meyer, George Mikan, and DePaul. The Blue Demon women host the #1 ranked team in the country tonight. UConn basketball next on CPTV.
Chicago is.
Since its doors first opened 8 years ago, the home team has won 85% of its games here. Tonight, we are at McGrath Arena in Chicago, where #1 ranked Connecticut visits the DePaul Blue Demons. And with only 2 games left in the Big East season, UConn is a half game behind first place Rutgers, who beat Syracuse this afternoon, and the Huskies and Scarlet Knights will square off Monday night in Hartford. Pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Megan Kumo. What could be better than a Saturday night on the shores of Lake Michigan? Megan, UConn is coming off its most impressive performance of the season, winning at LSU on Monday, and the Huskies received a giant contribution from an unexpected source.
Well, they absolutely did, with the team really depleted inside with some injury and foul trouble. Kylie McLaren came off the bench, and you see, watch this tip in home. The big girl showing some ups. And then here, showing a little bit of her versatility, banking it in off the glass. Now she averages 5 points and 4 rebounds in 15 minutes a game. Look at what she did on Monday, 11-12, and she played 30 minutes a game. And if she can continue to play this way the rest of the season, who knows what can happen in the tournament.
It's senior night here at DePaul, and the fans are saying farewell to one of the greatest Blue Demons ever.
Oh yeah, Allie Quigley, boy, has she had an unbelievable career. The 5'11" guard, Big East Player of the Week for the 2nd time. Look at those numbers. Now she's going to be a 2,000-point scorer here at DePaul. Also leads this team in assists, and Doug Bruno told me that she is one of the most special players he's ever seen.
And Maya Moore's pretty special as well. It could be a special evening for her. She needs 23 points to break the record for most points by a UConn freshman. Will she do it in Sinatra's kind of town? Bob Picozzi, Megan Kumo, and a whole lot of UConn fans back in Chicago, all set for only the 5th meeting between UConn and DePaul. Let's check the starting lineups first for the visiting Huskies. Tina Charles played the full 40 Monday night at LSU, scored 18 points. She's 6th in the country in field goal shooting percentage. And for DePaul, all 5 seniors starting on senior night, including Missy Minadero, who had a career-high 7 3-pointers last time out Wednesday in a loss to Rutgers. UConn coach Gino Auriemma has already won 25 games this season. It's the 15th consecutive season that he's done that. DePaul coach Doug Bruno was born right here in Chicago, and all 412 of those career wins have come at his alma mater. And Megan, Keisha Soignier not in the starting lineup tonight for a unique reason.
Well, yeah, Gino really wants her to get that Big East 6th Man of the Year award. As you see her sitting there on the bench, and this not starting tonight as a Big East contest will allow her to start on Monday against Rutgers in that big matchup. Because it's 4 games, right? Is that the max you could play?
The max you could 4, and Monday would be your 4th start.
And she's had 3 starts so far.
Bob Trammell tosses the ball up. He's working with Ray Bomily and Michelle St. Pierre. So Lauren Dixon, who started 9 games in a row, following the injury to Mel Thomas, is starting at the point instead of Soignier. This is Dixon on the right, guarded by Missy Minadero. Montgomery for 3.
Makes such a difference when Montgomery starts shooting the ball well. She didn't shoot well against LSU and didn't have one of her terrific games that we're used to.
Quigley's pass in the lane batted around. Erin Carney comes away with it. She is the most physical player on the DePaul team. We've played 30 seconds. UConn leads at 3-0. Quigley for 3, and we're tied.
Well, that kid can really light it up, and as I said in the open, Doug Bruno said she is really one of the most special kids that he has ever been around.
236 career 3 for her, 2nd most in DePaul history.
Underrated on the national scene, no doubt.
3-3 the score. Montgomery, 1 minute gone here in Chicago.
Nice screen there by McLaren. McLaren getting the start here after that great effort against LSU.
McLaren double teamed and he's called for the travel. Watch, text, and win. CPTV invites you to test your UConn knowledge and win a UConn jacket. Plus, every text enters you into our season-ending drawing on March 17th for one of 3 HD TVs. Stay tuned for this season's final on-air trivia question and prize. Megan is thinking up the question as we speak.
And it's hurting me.
Caprice Smith with the miss. Rebound, Tina Charles. She's third in the Big East in that category. Montgomery out front to Dixon. Back to Montgomery. Up top, Charles, guarded by Carney, who gives away 4 inches in that matchup. Shot clock at 10. Now down low to Charles, and Carney stripped
What
her.
defense by Carney.
Reached around with that big left paw and knocked it away without creating contact. Caprice Smith misses the shot. Rebound pulled down by Maya Moore, who on Monday was named the Big East Rookie of the Week for the 9th time this season. Sounds like Groundhog Day as we report that every week. The flat-footed outside shot by McLaren, no good. Rebound Quigley. Rushes it up the floor herself. Kick out Mitadero for 3. Rebound in the lane, taken away by Tina Charles.
This is going to be a track meet. Both teams love to run.
And Dixon threw the ball away. Turnover number 3 for UConn. Dixon started 9 games, and she will be replaced right now by Keisha Soigné. She started 9 games following the injury to Mel Thomas. She played very well, Megan, at the beginning of that 9-game stretch. She took good care of the ball, which was her far and away the most important thing. But then she really stopped looking for her shot toward the end of that 9-game run.
You know, as so many freshmen do, I do think she hit a little bit of a wall in the middle of February. It's, you know, it's a long grind for these kids, especially the first-year players.
Quigley on the right to Mitadero. Caprice Smith jump shot from the baseline.
Well, these seniors are inspired here against the #1 team in the country. You know, Doug Bruno's teams, they play hard. They're smart basketball players. They're never going to give up.
Maya Moore for 3, no good. And the rebound, Caprice Smith. I think Carney got away with a shove in the middle of McLaren's back on that one. Gives to Smith. DePaul is 7th in the country in 3-point field goals made. And Mitadero can't get one to fall. Rebound Charles. Tries to spin away from the held ball, and the reach-in foul on Sierra Johnson.
Well, this is such a unique atmosphere to play a basketball game. It really is like a high school auditorium, or rather a high school gym. Just the 2 bleachers straight up the side, nothing on the end lines. But what a great home court advantage it is.
It's like an old-time atmosphere.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
The building's only 8 years old. And the place is packed tonight, as it was 2 years ago when UConn came to town the first time. McLaren, great look to Charles.
Unbelievable pass. We've seen it time and again. McLaren with the nice dish, and Charles finishing him with the left hand.
Quigley baseline. McLaren was absolutely terrific in the win at LSU Monday. Caprice Smith, boy, she's fallen in love with the perimeter shot in her senior year. Quigley, who's very good from the perimeter. How about that with a hand in her face?
Well, that kid, I mean, you don't score 200 points by not being able to knock down shots like that.
And Soigné comes right back for a 2 for the Huskies.
And Soigné continuing this tear that she's been on of late, playing with incredible confidence.
Quigley another 3. Rebound baseline Moore. UConn looking to get something in transition. They lead the Big East, 2nd in the country in scoring, and Moore finishes. Oh, how did that not stay down? Charles with a 2nd putback.
We see the unusual miss inside for Maya Moore on the break, but Tina Charles there to clean it up and get fouled.
2nd foul on Sierra Johnson. Kylie McLaren was terrific the other night. Tina Charles with some stick-to-itiveness inside early. An early 1-point UConn lead. We'd like to welcome those of you who are watching in Chicagoland on CLTV. Terrific matchup between UConn and DePaul. And Megan, there is certainly a reasonable chance that these 2 teams could meet again a week from tomorrow in the quarterfinals of the Big East tournament in Hartford.
Yeah, if DePaul seemingly will play Marquette, right, the 8-9 game in the first round, and then if they win,
and
if UConn is the #1 seed,
that's the matchup the next night. Great look from Quigley on the break.
But,
finishing Minadero.
And the thing is, Monday's win, obviously, against LSU means nothing in the Big East. And Monday's upcoming game against Rutgers won't mean anything if the Huskies don't win tonight. Right. And DePaul is playing great basketball. You knew Doug Bruno would have them ready. Gino Auriemma not real happy right now, as you see there, but he knew he was going to be coming in to a battle against Doug Bruno's club.
4 turnovers for UConn and none for DePaul. Quigley, preseason honorable mention All Big East selection. Caprice Smith over McLaren. Boy, she shot the ball, I think, every time she's touched it tonight. Here comes Soigné on the dribble by, and Minadero got a hand in there.
Terrific defense by Minadero to get a hand on that ball.
So Maya Moore will inbound baseline. Moore, as we mentioned, needs 23 points to break the single-season freshman record. Quigley blocked that shot. And here come the Blue Demons, up 1 with the ball. Stops, pull up, foul line.
Well, you know that's money with Quigley. Just such a sweet release, great extension.
Yep. Well, we said this has an old-time gym atmosphere. She's an old-school player, isn't she?
Yeah, she's deceptively athletic.
Out of Joliet Catholic, about 50 miles south of here. Naughton got the reach in.
Terrific defense there by Naughton. Textbook, hand in the passing lane, and then the back cut, and she stayed with it, just looked her head down, her other arm, and knocked the ball away. Great defense.
Felicia Chester replaces Smith for DePaul. Sharday Houston replacing Kylie McLaren for UConn.
How about that new do on Sharday?
Each night it seems like it's a new one. 11 to shoot on the shot clock for UConn. Montgomery.
Williams fronting Tina Charles down low.
And a 5-second call. Credit that turnover to Quigley. She forced it.
Well, she did a great job with pressure on the ball when Renee Montgomery had given up her dribble, but then all her other teammates also did a phenomenal job by denying every single passing lane. Montgomery had nowhere to go with it.
DePaul is in the middle of the killer portion of its schedule. 3rd straight game against a top 25 team. 2nd straight game against a top 4 team. Quigley. Houston pops out to help at that end of the matchup zone. Naughton, transfer from Wake Forest. Shot clock at 5. Minadero down low to Natasha Williams.
I tell you what, offense does not get better than that right there by the Blue Demons.
5-point Wake lead. Williams, a transfer from Minnesota, one of 4 transfers on this DePaul team.
And what a difference she has made on this club inside.
Moore with the reverse dribble went by Naughton.
Oh, a little display there of how incredible that freshman is from Georgia.
First 2 points for Moore. Inside, Williams, and the foul on Charles.
Well, DePaul is playing inspired basketball for their seniors here in their last home game. And the key is, they came into this game believing that they can not only compete with, but beat the #1 team in the country. They're just great focus and strength by Williams to knock that in while getting fouled.
McLaren replaces Charles. Williams not a good free throw shooter, however, just 42.2%. Played 2 years for the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. 51 games, averaged 5 points per game. Soigné to Moore. Gives to Houston, defended by the freshman Chester, and shoots over her. Rebound inside. McLaren got it with one hand. I think she threw it off Naughton.
And I think Williams jammed her finger a little bit there on the right hand.
Quigley gets a break. She's replaced by #2 Pikes.
Well, one thing that DePaul has done exceptionally well is limit the Huskies to 1 shot every possession. A miscommunication
right in front of us
there.
Minadero was able to keep the DePaul possession alive. Last touch by UConn. 7th turnover already for the Huskies.
They're just miscommunication. Someone zigged when her teammate thought she was zagging.
2-3 matchup zone. UConn 27-1, 13-1 in the Big East. Lone loss to Rutgers. They play the Scarlet Knights again Monday, and Naughton for 3.
Well, she leads this team coming into the game with 56 threes. And another one to her repertoire. Not easy, that shot.
And she was 0 for 8 from 3-point range in the loss at Rutgers on Wednesday. That was a night where DePaul attempted 36 threes and no free throws. Houston, boy, that possession was all out of whack for the Huskies. Moore gets the offensive rebound. Soignier for three.
I'll tell you, that's a way to kill the defense there with a rather haphazard possession offensively, as you indicated, and then just the killer with the three.
Soignier's 36th three of the year.
And just not a smart foul there by Keisha Soignier, just swiping her arm in there. That's a great example of playing really fast and playing too quickly there. She didn't use her composure on the defensive end with that silly foul.
First foul on her, 2 on the team. Number 22, Megan Gardler, checks in for Houston for the Huskies. The sophomore from Springfield, Pennsylvania, didn't play Monday at LSU. Not many people played Monday at LSU.
Oh my gosh.
5 players accounted for, what do we say, 185 out of the 200 minutes.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Naughton, back-to-back three.
Yeah, speaking of incredible, the transfer from Wake Forest with another three. And as good as DePaul's three-point shooting has been, I think their defense has been better.
Turnover number 8 on UConn. Deirdre Naughton made the ACC All-Freshman team 2 years ago at Wake Forest. And in her first year in the Big East, she's 8th in the conference in three-point field goals. She's got 58 of them. Coach Doug Bruno told me Allie Quigley is one of the most underrated players I've ever seen. She's a great player, student, and young woman, and a joy to coach.
Well, and I tell you what, she really wants to end her senior year and her career at home in a special way, and she's doing it on all ends of the floor. I mean, the three-pointer, the dish, the pull-up on the break. The kid is so, what I love about this kid is not only can she score, but she rebounds, she passes,
yep.
She does everything for this team. She's just a great leader.
She's the whole package. Catch and shoot Naughton. Hit back-to-back threes. The putback, Williams back in after hurting her finger.
Nice rebound there by Maya Moore. And once again, as we've seen all year, the quick release.
And Moore finds Gardler in the return pass to Moore. Foul Chester.
That's where Megan Gardler is really good. She makes the pass where it needs to be. She could have shot that ball. And then there you see, looking, she's just a great student of the game. And certainly she understands where her bread is buttered. Why not give it to the leading scorer on your team as she flashes down the lane.
Moore knocks down a free throw. That man, Doug Bruno, had the pleasure of coaching Maya Moore in each of the last 2 summers.
Yeah, I mean, he just said that she is, you know, easily one of the most special basketball players and talents that he has ever seen.
Coached her for the USA Basketball 18 and under team 2 summers ago, along with Tina Charles, and the under-19 team, which won the gold medal at the World Championships last summer. And Moore led the team in scoring with 16 points per game.
How about that? Hadn't even entered college yet.
Quigley foul line pull-up, and Moore got the one-handed rebound. With the ball, the outlet pass went in and out of the hands of Gardler.
Well, and that's where Maya Moore is so quick to release the ball on the outlet. Gardler not ready for it.
The traveling violation called on Naughton, who thought she might have got shoved by Montgomery. Charles re-enters for UConn, replacing Moore, who like Charles, played all 40 minutes Monday night at LSU. Charles and Moore played 40. Montgomery played 39. Soignier played 36. And Kylie McLaren played 30 minutes.
Keisha Soignier got away with nearly a walk, and then there the poor pass.
And we're going to get, no, DePaul got a timeout. Bob Trammell was signaling held ball, but Ray Bomley said nope. Before she got tied up, she called time. So it will be DePaul ball when we come back. The #1 ranked team in the country trails by 7.
We have got ourselves an incredible game. I hope you are enjoying it, but please go to your telephone. This is the final night that Connecticut Public Television has to invite you into our family, and do it at any level. We've been talking about some of the higher levels, but most importantly, just sound off tonight. We have been waiting for you all season. We've done everything we possibly can to enhance your enjoyment of these games. Now it's your turn. Last night for CPTV.
Gino Auriemma's Huskies trailing by 7 early.
Well, Bob, it's something that I find fascinating right now. Clearly, UConn coming into this game with a much different frame of mind and mindset than they did at LSU, and that can be exceptionally frustrating to a coach. I don't know if they necessarily respected DePaul enough, but they're not playing the same way that they did against LSU.
Capri Smith back in the game, and she's called for the travel. This is our final telecast of the season here on CPTV, and throughout the evening there are a lot of people we would like to thank. At UConn, Director of Athletics Jeff Hathaway, Associate Director of Athletics Neil Eskin, Associate Athletic Director of Communications Mike Enright, Associate Director of Athletic Communications Randy Press, and Women's Basketball Administrative Assistant Sarah Darrow.
Well, there, Kylie McLaren with a great take inside, continuing the great work against LSU there. Capri Smith with another walk call.
Back-to-back. Back-to-back walks for DePaul.
And then here, this is some of that work we talked about. Oh, a little elbow she got away with there. But a nice finish inside. That's the kind of stuff McLaren has got to do consistently.
Backdoor cut, McLaren with the backdoor pass to Montgomery. Perfect execution.
Well, we've said it all season long that McLaren is an outstanding passer from the top of the key. And here you see it, the nice backdoor cut. And I just love the way Montgomery finishes inside when she knows she's going to get hit. That takes great concentration and focus and certainly strength.
Second foul on Chester, 4 on DePaul. Montgomery, the 10th best free throw shooter in the league, misses. And nearly got 2 instead of 1. Here's Quigley. Walks the ball up the floor. A nominee for the Naismith National Player of the Year Award. One of 8 Big East players who were nominated. Quigley, catch and shoot.
That shot came up short, but I love the way she curled around that screen to open herself up.
Here's Soignier, 3 on 2 if they hurry, and they do. Gardler with the finish.
Soignier passed that ball exactly when she had to the streaking Gardler.
The miss, rebound Gardler.
See, DePaul's going to shoot a lot of threes. If they don't make them, it's going to make this. Opportunity there with the behind-the-back pass from Soignier to Montgomery.
It's a 9-0 UConn run, and that 8-point lead is gone. Timeout, Doug Bruno.
This is what you've been enjoying all year long, some incredible play by our UConn heroes. And now we're asking you to be a hero tonight. If you didn't think you were needed all season long, we told you that we have a deficit situation, $15,000 that Jerry's talking about. We would like to make up. This is last call. Everybody in who wants to come in and become a member of the CPTV family. Thank you so very much.
Bob Picozzi, Megan Kumo back in Chicago. These are the Big East standings up to the minute. There were 6 games this afternoon. So Rutgers with a half-game lead over UConn, and those 2 teams will play Monday. West Virginia with a big win over Louisville today. And Marquette with the win today is now 8-7. So for the moment, a half game ahead of DePaul. They likely will play each other in the opening round of the Big East tournament. Quigley with the miss, and the rebound pulled down by Charles. Montgomery blows right by Quigley. Rebound inside. McLaren couldn't hang on, and Montgomery couldn't save.
And that's where Montgomery's decision-making is so good, that she's noticed that she had a little one-on-one, but there was no post player in the back there to help, and that's what allowed her. She got by her man, but just couldn't finish.
Naughton to Quigley. Found Carney underneath. Carney spins, tries to get it up and over Charles, and does.
You talk about stick-to-itiveness. Good job there by Carney.
Who's had an injury-riddled senior year. This is only her 2nd game back after missing 12 in a row with a foot injury. Down low, Charles is in the sweet spot. Can't hit. Rebound Quigley. Quigley with a football-type toss to Naughton. Oh, my goodness. If only Rex Grossman could do that more often.
Well, what a great finish by the incredibly, look at that pass by Quigley. Wow. And then the catch. And what happened there? Gardler foolishly put her hand on the back, and part of it, I think, was based on balance. trying to regain her balance, but nice play by Naughton.
Foul on Gardler, her first, and 3 on the team. And Naughton will sit down. Played 1 year at Wake Forest. This was the first of her 3 seasons here at DePaul. And Brittany Hunter, who missed her 8th game of the year with a sore knee Monday at LSU, off the bench for UConn. She practiced yesterday for the first time all week.
Well, it's nice to see Hunter in the game. The poor kid has missed so much time with that knee.
Couldn't even play on senior day because the knee was bothering her a week ago. And that really disappointed her, as you can well understand. Montgomery for 3. Rebound Taylor Pikes. Here's Minadero inside the 8-minute mark. DePaul up 4. They've led by as many as 8. Blue Demons have lost their last 2 home games to Louisville and lost a heartbreaker to Notre Dame last Sunday. Carney looking inside, nothing there. Gives to Pikes for 3. Knocks it down.
You gotta love when that happens. Coming into the game, Pikes only had 8 threes on the season.
Really
Bruno's got a big smile on his face.
Hunter triple teamed in the forecourt. And she's called for the travel.
A travel or a foul?
Got a foul with the elbow. Brittany Hunter's first foul, and 4 on the team. Doug Bruno says we need 20 wins to guarantee a trip to the NCAA. They got 18. They're up 7 tonight. This is one of 8 games in the Big East being played today. 6 this afternoon, another one tonight. Pittsburgh is playing at USF this evening. Rutgers with the win for the moment, a half-game lead over UConn for first place. St. John's with that win virtually nails down 10th place in the league. Rebound Minadero. Big win for Marquette. They will likely finish 8th or 9th and meet DePaul in the opening round. Notre Dame over Seton Hall. The Irish still could finish 3rd. If not 3rd, they'll finish 4th. And with that win, Georgetown clinches a spot in the Big East tournament. And USF, Seton Hall, Providence, and Cincinnati are the 4 teams who will not make the tournament. West Virginia with the win remains in 3rd place.
Gino was just trying to say to Bob Trammell, if you're going to call that down here, then you got to call it down the other end too.
Foul was on Houston, her first, and 5 on the team. Remember, UConn went on a 9-0 run, and Doug Bruno called time. Since then, it's been an 8-0 Blue Demons run.
And you know, basketball is a game of runs. You just got to hope that you got more runs than the opponent. Williams
got great position down low on Hunter.
Well, she is so big at 6'3" and strong, and with that left hand. There, Keisha Soigné with the turnover.
The 12th turnover for UConn in the first 13 and a half minutes. Entering the game, UConn in the Big East, 2nd in turnover margin. Not tonight. Quigley looking inside, spins on the dribble. Out top to Naughton, lobs it over everyone to Carney. Houston blocked it from behind. Houston's 130th career block, and Soigné, that was a pass, wasn't it?
It was, and it was an unbelievable pass to Houston, who finished in the air.
Soigné 5th in the Big East in assists, entered the night with 119 of them. So that ends the 8-0 run for the Blue Demons. Boy, Soigné had a handful of Quigley shirt there. No one saw it.
It didn't matter. Quigley with another finish.
What a senior night she's having, huh?
Unbelievable. And, you know, DePaul just runs, they execute so well offensively. They run perfect offense. They get the shot they want.
Well, they're 3rd in the Big East, 7th in the country in scoring, averaging 78 per game. Shot clock down to 10. Houston looks inside to Moore. She's double covered. Soigné penetrates and a hold. 2 players were there. Carney from one side. Let's see who Ray Bomley will get. It will be Carney. Her first, and number 5 on DePaul.
Well, DePaul may not blow you away with their athleticism, but what I love about the way they play defense is everyone knows what they're doing. They know where the ball is. They play great team defense.
More to inbound, a full 30 for UConn on the shot clock because of the foul. Out to Houston. To Soigné. Soigné calls the play up high to Houston, even higher to Charles. Soigné looking for another 3. Air ball. Excellent defensive possession there for the Blue Demons.
Very calm Gino Auriemma on the sideline.
Gino had dinner last night with Doug Bruno, who is one of his closest friends in the coaching fraternity.
He's just one of the great people of all time. In fact, I asked him about what he thinks is his, or how would you describe yourself as a coach? And he goes, Meg, I've never thought about that question. I couldn't even begin to answer it. I said, well, what do you think is your best strength? And he goes, I have no idea. I think I treat people well. I treat them fairly. And I think I'm good for the girls. And he can't even get in anything else. He's such a humble, great guy. Rebound
Soigné. Doug has been an integral part of USA basketball for years. The last 2 years has been their USA Basketball Developmental Coach of the Year. This is unbelievable for UConn, the way they're turning the ball over tonight. That's turnover number 13.
Well, I think a lot of you have to give a lot of credit to Doug Bruno and the way their team is playing defense. But I also think that UConn is just not mentally as sharp and as focused as we saw on television against LSU.
And a palming violation on Caprice Smith. It has been a rough senior night for her so far. Smith last year as a junior was an honorable mention all Big East selection. There's the turnover story. DePaul 5th in the Big East in turnover margin. Charles looking inside. And DePaul really has given UConn very little inside. Montgomery with a tough shot.
UConn just has to stay focused and stay true to their offense and have faith in the offense that they run, but they got to run it.
Smith drives. Houston blocked the shot, but also is called for her second foul and 6 on the team.
And with, we talked off the top of the show about how UConn is depleted inside. And, they don't, Brittany Hunter in her knee, she just went in. Who knows if she can go back in, but she wasn't too effective. Kylie McLaren has had okay minutes. Houston just picked up her second foul. Tina Charles hasn't done a lot of stuff. You see Brittany there, and who knows what her status is going to be. But you don't, even just looking at her face there, I just don't see the same energy level on the Huskies that I've seen in other big games, and this is the biggest game of the season for them.
Again, what's at stake? A share of first place in the Big East going into the final game. UConn can still win the Big East even if they lose tonight. If they lose, they'd fall a game behind Rutgers, and then if they beat Rutgers Monday, they'd wind up tied. They'd share the title. UConn would get the #1 seed. They split their 2 meetings based on their win over West Virginia and Rutgers' loss to the Mountaineers. Tina Charles will go to the line and shoot a couple when we come back with the Huskies down 10. Well, wherever UConn goes, their fan base travels with them. And of course, we'd like to thank all of our loyal viewers who have watched another season of UConn basketball.
I think they're all stunned.
Television.
I think they're all stunned here tonight, Bob.
Tina Charles will go to the line to shoot a couple of free throws. The foul was on Natasha Williams, her 1st and 6th on the team. And again, as we continue our thank yous, we'd like to thank our boss, the president and CEO of Connecticut Public Television, Jerry Franklin, the vice president of local programming, Jay Whitsitt, the executive producer of UConn women's basketball on CPTV, Harriet Unger, and senior programming executive director Larry Rifkin. It was his vision way back when that started the marriage between UConn and women's basketball on CPTV.
Hey, he's the man who brought Barney to television. It's 2 great things, right, Barney?
It's a heck of a twofer there.
Yeah, 2 of the many great things Larry's done. Barney and UConn women's basketball.
Quigley got the screen from Caprice Smith. Can't hit the jumper in the lane. Rebound Gardler with 3:20 remaining.
Yeah, the rare miss for Quigley.
Montgomery finds Gardler. Charles up top. Puts it on the floor.
Nice
lost
help.
the handle. Got it back.
That's great help by Minadero, and that's what DePaul has done all night. Every time Charles and one of the other big guys get the ball in the lane, there's a million white shirts around.
Quigley to Minadero, who has that weird delivery. Who cares if it's weird?
Absolutely, man. It looked good at the end. That's all that matters.
7-3 already for the Blue Demons. Up high, Houston. Backdoor cut to Charles, who gets to the line. Second time the Huskies ran that successfully tonight. First time it was a layup. This time a couple of free throws.
Well, you talked about the threes. DePaul averages 8 threes a game. What do they already have now? 7?
Yep. Well, it is a huge part of their offense. Again, they're 2nd in the Big East and 6th in the country in 3-point makes. With the 7 tonight, they've got 214. entering the night, Megan, they had 56 more threes than their opponents. So what's that? They're outscoring their opponents by about 180 points from the three-point line.
And they do this consistently. I mean, it's 9 years in a row now where they've made over 200 threes in each season.
Held ball, arrow pointing toward DePaul with 2:49 remaining. Doug Bruno told me, we can't allow ourselves to be devastated no matter what happens tonight. He said, frankly, we played Tennessee tough for a half, and they really put us away in the second half, and that loss lingered. We allowed ourselves to be devastated by that loss to Tennessee back in December.
And he's such a great teacher that regardless of what happens in the second half, they have learned from that experience.
Houston with the rebound at the 2:30 mark. UConn with the ball down 9. They've already allowed 40 points. They only give up 49 per game. Down low, Charles baseline. Rebound Gardler, and she's fouled.
That's one thing about Megan Gardler. The kid is a scrapper. She goes and attacks the offensive glass every single possession.
Second foul on Erin Carney, whose sister Rachel played with her here at DePaul, graduated last May. Gardler at the line, can't get it to go.
And that's the thing. Gardler has got to knock down those free throws. She's got to realize her role. She knows it's to come in and make good things happen, but she's got to knock them in.
Naughton to Quigley, defended by Montgomery. Back to Caprice Smith for 3.
Great stroke. We had a great line of that shot, and as soon as it left her hand, you could tell it was going in.
20th of the year for Smith, 8th of the night for DePaul, up 12 over the #1 ranked team in the country. Down low, Charles, double team, didn't matter.
Oh, and a turnover there. A walk by Minadero. Huskies get a break. Let's see if they can capitalize.
Only the 5th turnover for DePaul. Carney will depart. Of course, UConn found itself trailing Syracuse all night before pulling away at the end. The loss to Rutgers was a reversal.
Well, there, Maya Moore ran to the table, thought she was in.
It's not a backcourt. You're allowed to throw the ball in the backcourt as long as you don't put it back there yourself once it's put in play. That makes sense? Sure,
really.
The rule book reads more clearly than that.
I knew what you meant, though.
Here's Dixon to Montgomery. On the right to Houston. Charles really fighting for position down low.
Well, and Williams is doing a great job of fronting her.
Shot clock down to 5. Montgomery around the Charles screen for the pull-up.
Williams did a wonderful job of altering that shot of Renee Montgomery.
Maya Moore, who has spent a considerable amount of time on the bench, re-enters for UConn. There's a look at Williams, who has been outstanding so far tonight. Maya Moore, only 3 points. She's taken only 3 shots. She does have 8 rebounds, though.
Well, I did notice in the beginning of this half, you know, she didn't get a lot of touches. And, you know, you got to give DePaul a lot of credit.
Quigley to Naughton. That one was blocked by Moore, her 44th of the year. And then Quigley mauls Montgomery going for the loose ball.
And then, as you would expect, a very classy move, picks her up after that hard foul.
First foul on Quigley, 9 on the team. Allie's younger sister, Sam, a sophomore here at DePaul, tore her ACL last summer and has missed the entire season. They actually started a number of games in the backcourt last year. There's Sam. She'll be back next year.
Boy, you can tell they're sisters, huh?
3 years of eligibility remaining.
Yeah, you just hate to see all these ACL injuries.
Well, and they had another one the other night against Rutgers. China 3. Tore her ACL in the Rutgers game the other night. She's out, obviously, for the rest of this season. Unlike Sam Quigley, will not be able to redshirt. Naughton with 38 seconds remaining. Tough shot. Oh.
How about that? The pump fake. Talk about old school. The pump fake got Maya Moore up off her feet.
13 points already for Naughton tonight in the first half. About a 3-second differential shot clock, game clock. Dixon had her pass blocked. Charles got it anyway, goes right around Williams and is called for the travel.
Wow.
DePaul has the ball, up 10, over the #1 ranked team in the country with 16 seconds remaining. And what an emotional boost it would be if they can get something on this possession.
Wouldn't that be huge for DePaul?
Mitadera with 3 seconds left. Quigley, off-balance shot blocked by Charles. Do we have a foul? Yes, we do. And Gino Auriemma cannot believe it. Michel St. Pierre.
And you see, as you read his lips, he's saying horrible. And I'd love to see a replay here. I tend to agree with him, but we have the luxury of getting a second look at it. Let's take a look here. I was just going to say UConn would do well to.
Well, she called the foul because contact was made after.
There's not even any time left. I was just going to say, man, if UConn can get a big stop, what they would do for their confidence and momentum going into the locker room. Let's see if we can take a look. She gets a big piece of the ball, and then I think her right hip hit Quigley.
And you know what they're doing now? They're looking, first of all, to set the time left and also to see if she was attempting a 3, because if she was, she'll shoot 3. Really tough for us to see from there. There's Bob Trammell and Michel St. Pierre taking a look at the video replay, which is what the rules call for them to do in this situation. The foul was called clearly because of the contact after the shot. Sometimes you see that called, sometimes you don't. I do believe it did. Whatever happened before time expired. But they're continuing to look.
And this is where the officials can use the replay to figure out exactly what happened.
See, we really
like
we can't tell from there, certainly definitively, whether her toe was on the line. At any rate, Quigley, who is an unbelievable free throw shooter, second in the Big East at 85.3%, is going to go to the line to shoot either 2 or 3 and give her, she has a chance to give her team, they're already up 10 and 11 or a 12 or maybe even a 13-point lead at the half.
And DePaul has done so many things right here in this first half on both ends of the floor. They've run terrific offense. They've played outstanding defense.
UConn trailed Syracuse by 4 at the half. Did not get the lead from the Orange until the final moments of that one. Eventually,
I think her foot was on the line there.
Well, here comes the verdict.
And isn't it funny that Bob Trammell was involved in that Rutgers-Tennessee game at Rutgers?
Where
at the end of the game,
the officials did not use the replay to determine whether or not the foul had been committed before the time expired in the game.
Yeah, I think he's saying 2. It looked like that last time her right foot was on the line. It's 2 free throws and not 3.
So meanwhile, on top of everything else, it's the second foul for Tina Charles, but that's not UConn's biggest problem. Their biggest problem is they're going to be going into the locker room down either 10, 11, or 12. 1.1 second remaining. And Quigley at the line.
With Quigley an 85% free throw shooter, it's safe to say it'll be 12 points.
She's also 82.7% for her career, 4th best in DePaul history. Dozen points already tonight. She had scored in double figures in 36 straight games before getting only 8 the other night at Rutgers. Houston inbounds. This is the biggest deficit that UConn has faced at the half all season. The Huskies, who began the season with 21 straight wins before losing to Rutgers and have won 6 in a row since that loss, find themselves trailing by 7 at the half, by 12, excuse me, at the half to DePaul. The Blue Demons trying desperately to add to the resume and get a 13th straight trip to the NCAA tournament. Get 13 points from Missy Mitadero and 13 points for Alex Quigley in the first half and lead by 12 at halftime. It's the biggest deficit UConn has faced all season, trailing by 12 at the half to DePaul. Bob Picozzi back in Chicago. Megan Kumo is with the associate head coach of the Huskies, Chris Daly.
Bob, thank you. Yeah, Chris, first time or biggest deficit you've had all year at 12 points. Two numbers that stuck out, the 14 turnovers and their 8 threes.
Well, clearly the three-point shooters were on the scouting report. You can't give up that many threes. And then we got into a helter-skelter game, and we turned the ball over, and we just lost our composure, and they outplayed us in every area in the first half.
Maya Moore, only 14 minutes. Anything particular?
Were you watching the game? She was out of it. I mean, there's nothing you can do. I think they were physical with her, not trying to let her touch the ball, and she just stood around. And that, you can't score if you're standing around.
I'd expect.
And defensively, she had some lapses, but we've got 20 minutes.
All right, I'd expect a much different second half.
I do too. Back to you, Bob.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Evidently, UConn didn't feel they needed to warm up much because they spent almost that entire halftime in the locker room. There's Maya Moore, only 14 minutes. Let's take a look at some first half highlights, and it was a three-point brigade for DePaul. Here's Allie quickly knocking down one of her three first half threes. She scored 13. This time it's Deirdre Naughton off the give and go from Felicia Chester. She had 2 threes, 13 points in 13 minutes off the bench. UConn on the break behind the back. Soignier to Renee Montgomery, who scored 11 in the first half. Tina Charles had 10. She hits the turnaround here. She also has 2 fouls. It all adds up to a 12-point DePaul lead. Both teams shot 47%. But Meg, the big stat, the three-point field goals. DePaul outscored UConn from the three-point line by 18 points.
Well, yeah, and you got to take care of the basketball. The Huskies, not only do they not take care of it on the offensive end, they didn't come back and play sound defense, giving up those 8 threes. These first 5 minutes, I think, are going to be very interesting to see how the Huskies come out.
We'd like to welcome those of you who are watching in Chicagoland tonight on CLTV. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Megan Kumo. DePaul, who has never beaten the #1 ranked team in the country. They've never hosted the #1 ranked team in the country here at McGrath Arena, and they're now up by 14 following that basket by Natasha Williams.
That was as big a play all game. It just shows you that DePaul has come out the second 20 with the same determination that they played with the first 20.
And away from the play, we're going to have a hold on the Blue Demons. First foul of the second half. I think it might be on Caprice Smith. Nope, it's going to be on Naughton. So for Naughton, her first. And #1 on the team. Inside, McLaren looked like she might have got bumped. Rebound loose, and McLaren out hustles Mitadero to control the possession for the Huskies. UConn trailed North Carolina by 11 at the half and won. Trailed Syracuse by 4 at the half and won. The Huskies, the only game they lost was to Rutgers. Soignier with the miss, but Moore with the putback. And UConn led Rutgers by 9 at the half and wound up losing the game.
I think Keisha Soignier would like to say that was a pass to Maya Moore. Don't think that it'll show that in the stat sheet.
Nope, she won't get the assist on that one. Moore only with 5 points. Naughton to Quigley.
But I can see a different Maya Moore just in the way she's playing here in the second half. But Quigley finds a way to get to the basket and finishes once again.
Quigley with 15 points. Now has 1,984 in her career. 4th most in DePaul history. Again, the backdoor cut. Montgomery angry with herself because she couldn't finish, but she will get to the line.
Unusual for Montgomery to miss that shot. As I've said all season long, so good at finishing, going to the basket while she's getting fouled. But I love the communication there non-verbally between Montgomery and the big girl, Kylie McLaren, with the great bounce pass after Montgomery was denied on the wing. Defense overplayed, so she cut back door.
Second foul on Naughton, both here in the second half. 2 team fouls on the Blue Demons in the first minute 36. There you see what Montgomery's done. Naughton will leave, replaced by Sierra Johnson, who picked up 2 fouls early in the first half and did not return. Played only 4 minutes. 13 points for Montgomery, who is in double figures for the 18th time in her last 21 games. UConn will host Rutgers Monday night at 7, nationally televised game at the XL Center in Hartford. Big East tournament starts next Saturday. UConn won't play the first day. As one of the top 4 seeds, they'll get a bye.
This game, Bob, is a great example of you can't overlook any opponent, especially in the Big East, but you got to play as DePaul turns it over by stepping on the line there. But you can't overlook any opponent, and the Rutgers game on Monday means nothing if you can't get the win on the road. But that's where championships are won, on the road.
Huskies 9-1 on the road this year, 6-1 on the road in the Big East. The lone loss to Rutgers. They've won 6 in a row since that loss on February 5th in Piscataway. Up high, McLaren. Around the screen comes Montgomery, but didn't catch the pass cleanly.
Well, clean catch, that's a shot.
Montgomery throws it to Kalena Green, who unfortunately is out for the season on the bench with a torn ACL. 15th turnover for UConn.
And her partner in crime, Mel Thomas, next to her as well with a similar ACL injury.
Green suffered her injury on December 17th. Thomas January 15th. Backdoor Quigley. Tough catch and finish.
I tell you what, DePaul will not be denied right now. It's not that Quigley was that open. It was a great pass from Smith. The help was late from McLaren. And then you talk about strength and focus to finish. See McLaren late coming over. That pass had to be on the money to the back-cutting Quigley.
First foul on McLaren, first on UConn this half. Quigley now with 18 points. And this is now the biggest lead that UConn has had to attempt to overcome all season. Down 15 points. They trailed by 12 at the half. Lots of time left, though. Soigné to Dixon, who started the game. Takes her first shot and called for the charge.
That tells you everything you need to know about this game. Well, she takes it to the basket. DePaul does the right thing, steps in and takes a charge.
One on her, 2 on the team. Mitadero was a twin sister, Jessica, and has 2 brothers, Nick and Mike, who are also twins.
How about that, huh?
2 years apart are the sets of twins. Quigley, tough shot. Sierra Johnson could not control the rebound.
Well, Soigné had inside position, was trying to box out. No foul called.
Mitadero began her career at Illinois. That's where her sister Jessica attended for all 4 years. But after 1 year, transferred here to DePaul. This is her 3rd and final year in the Blue Demons uniform. Dixon on the weave to Montgomery.
Yeah, you see Quigley, they're switching every time they handed it off.
Montgomery for 3, in and out. Rebound Carney.
And Gino Auriemma is looking at the officials saying, wait a minute, Montgomery ended up on the ground. You're not going to call a foul there? But you know what? You can't expect to get those calls on the road. And you got.
Oh, that's going to be a charge. Charge on Quigley.
That could have gone either way. Maybe a little makeup call for the previous no call on Montgomery's 3.
Second on Quigley, 3 in the team.
You see what the home crowd thinks of that call.
And Quigley will get a rare rest.
Well, UConn needs to start taking advantage of some of these things. They need to score here. They need to start chipping away. I know 16 minutes is a lot of time. They got to start chipping away at this lead, but DePaul's defense has been way too stingy.
Huskies shooting 43%. Dixon all of a sudden looking for a shot. On the first one called for charge, and the second one gets it blocked. Mitadero, reversal to Naughton. On the left, Johnson down low, Smith turnaround. Rebound on a hop to Montgomery. Or to Maya Moore. Her 10th rebound of the night. Make it 11. Up, she couldn't. Up, it will be UConn ball. 11 rebounds for Maya Moore. But Allie Quigley on senior night, her final night in a DePaul uniform here at the McGrath Center, has scored 18 points. Her team's up 15. It's not a misprint. DePaul leading the #1 ranked team in the country by 15. Blue Demons coach Doug Bruno, last summer and the summer before, coached USA basketball national teams, and his best player on last summer's team was Maya Moore.
Maya Moore is one of the most special basketball players and athletes I've ever been around. She's obviously gifted and talented, but she plays with a passion and a gusto for the game. They talk about the millennium generation. She's a throwback.
And Megan, Doug also said she reminds me of a kid from a steel mill or a coal mine town in western Pennsylvania who has to work hard to feed his or her family. And she takes that approach to everything she does, not just the basketball, the classroom, everything.
And
you get a blocking foul here right in front of us.
Soigné, yeah, she tried to come over and take that charge and kind of get her team going, but everything's going that man's way tonight. Doug Bruno and his DePaul Blue Demons doing everything right.
Moore so far tonight, 5 points, 10 rebounds, and the biggest stat, maybe the biggest stat of the night, Megan, only 5 shots for Maya Moore. Naughton misses the 3, rebound, Carney.
Well, there you have it. Those are, and Doug's got a great little smile on his face right now. I don't think Doug Bruno can believe what's happening.
Well, the lead was 12 at the half. We played 5 minutes second half, and now it's 17. Headed in the wrong direction for UConn. Montgomery to Gardler.
They look so out of sort offensively.
Gino Auriemma on his feet, trying to encourage his team to execute. Here's Moore driving on Carney, the runner. Foul before.
Tina Charles. That's unbelievable.
Wow. From all the way across the court, the whistle from Michelle St. Pierre, and that's 3 fouls on Charles. 4 on UConn in the second half. So there's a foul that took away a basket. UConn now using full court pressure, and Smith lost the ball, and look who picked it up.
Good job by Gardler and Moore. Moore finishing.
Moore with 7. Again, the full court pressure. Quigley dribbles behind the back and beats the pressure single-handedly.
Well, I would expect the Huskies to press and double team as often as possible.
Naughton misses the 3. Carney tries to run down the rebound.
No.
Up. Now
You
that's
know,
the new rule. Well, it's 2 years
and
old.
plus she didn't have good possession of the ball. The ball wasn't even in her hands.
They changed the rule last season where you can't leave your feet in the field of play, call a timeout in the air, and get it. And land out of bounds with the ball. She tried to do that. Great hustle, nonetheless, by Carney.
Unbelievable.
And make no mistake about it, DePaul is the team that is out hustling the other team tonight. Caprice Smith with the block shot.
Oh, DePaul is doing everything right as Smith is now getting a break as Williams replaces her. And you see here the penetration by Montgomery. Watch Smith come over. See, look at that. There's 4 and 5 really white jerseys converging on the ball every time it goes into the lane. Great team defense.
Houston, great take.
Well, and that's one of the few times the Huskies have gotten that open look.
4 points for Houston. Again, the full court pressure. Naughton dribbles it across. Cross court, Carney starts to drive, kick out Quigley like a shortstop on a short hop.
That kid is so tough. She doesn't need much room.
Looked like Ozzie Guillen back in his playing days on that one.
Well, you know, it's like every time UConn does something good, DePaul's got an answer.
Soigné pull up. Great box out rebound by Williams. DePaul up 15 with the ball. 7 minutes gone, second half. Blue Demons lost 4 of their last 6. Last Sunday, they lost to 14th ranked Notre Dame. Last Wednesday to 4th ranked Rutgers. Quigley around the screen. Shot clock inside 10. Naughton. Carney. Minadero, and Moore blocks it with 1. 1 second to shoot.
She blocked that with her elbow.
Felicia Chester back in. Moore's second block shot of the night. 45th of the year, 6th most in the Big East. She's got 2 of 3 UConn's blocks. 1 second on the shot clock. They get it down low to Williams.
No, she didn't get that off.
Nope.
Late
Shot clock
whistle,
violation.
though. It was a late whistle. And check out the athleticism here. Swatted that. Look at the crowd.
UConn leads
Great
the Big
arena.
East in block shots.
A lot of UConn fans here, Bob, but not a lot to cheer about. Paul has silenced the visiting fans and their home crowd getting into it here.
Inside, Houston's shot was blocked by Felicia Chester. Her 21st block of the year. Third of the night for DePaul. 19 to shoot for UConn.
Again, it's all about team defense with DePaul.
Montgomery off the inbound. Moore fighting for the ball down low.
She was open for a split second.
Gardler takes it inside and draws the foul on Chester. Her third. And 4 on the team.
Good job by Gardler to make something happen there.
Substitution DePaul. Caprice Smith will come back in. And as we look at Megan Gardler, let's continue our thank yous. I'd like to thank our coordinating producer, Tony Melissa, who does such a wonderful job on all of the production surrounding UConn women's basketball. Production manager, Ed Gonzalez. Graphics coordinator, Doug Plate. And associate producer, Russ Winham, who didn't make the trip with us, but right now, knowing Russ, he's probably sitting down and working on the graphics for the opening game for next season. They're trying to get the blood off one of the players' shirts, Naughton. I don't know whether they're looking for detergent or whatever. Also like to thank our outstanding CPTV cameramen, Mike Dunphy, Kevin Kuhl, Jim Bates, Paul Coleman, Walter Ortaleva, Mark Sataropoulos. In audio, Carl Kempter, Larry Remming. In videotape, Lorna Luke, Tom Spunky Grigley, who is still very bitter over the Cowboys losing to the Giants playoffs. And John Grabowski. In video transmission, Joe Malone, Mark Dodge, and Tim Rooney. Thank you very much to all of you for making this another successful season of UConn women's basketball on Connecticut Public Television. Gardler at the free throw line.
Yeah, good job by Gardler to knock that one down. She missed her previous attempt, and it was the front end of a 1-on-1.
Well, the fact that Megan Gardler's in the game tells you all you need to know about the confidence that Gina Auriemma has in her.
Oh, absolutely.
With this team down 13.
Because she's a fighter.
Yeah, like that. DePaul is only 20 seconds left in the shot clock. They get it across with 18. Chester to Smith. The one-timer no good. Rebound Minadero and a reset. That's a killer for UConn.
And Gardler saved that. A rare miss on the inside by the Blue Demons.
Quigley. DePaul this year 3-5 against top 25 teams. Quigley from the left. Oh. The rebound kept alive by Pikes. Another fresh 30, and Quigley misses. Finally, Houston came down with it.
Well, that's the difference. UConn gets one look at possession. Not so with DePaul that time.
Great ball fake by Soignier. More double team finds Houston, who goes right down Michigan Avenue.
A great take there by Houston and finish.
Talk about the magnificent mile.
Yeah, you want to talk about that. You know, that's the kind of stuff the Huskies need right now. They need some of these old-fashioned three-point play there, something to get them going.
Foul on Caprice Smith. Houston will try to complete the three-point play when we come back. It's crowd of the season here at DePaul, including that cutie. She gets my vote for the cutest person in the building.
There's a diehard.
That guy might be the runner-up in that.
Yeah, all right, Grandpa.
Contest. So at the line will go Houston. Once again, if UConn loses tonight, they would fall one game behind Rutgers with 1 to go. They play Rutgers Monday. If they beat Rutgers Monday, obviously the two teams would wind up tied. They'd share the Big East championship. But UConn would be the #1 seed in the Big East tournament in that scenario, based on their win over third-place West Virginia, and Rutgers lost to West Virginia. West Virginia, with its win today, clinched the #3 seed in the conference tournament. Notre Dame is 4th. Notre Dame could tie West Virginia, but the Mountaineers beat the Irish, so that's why they would get that tie break for the 3 seed. Minadero for 3.
You know what? That was a lack of communication. Soignier got stuck down low on Maya Moore's man, and they never switched back, and Minadero was open. Lack of communication defensively for the Huskies.
6 points for Minadero. Moore with the finger roll in the foul.
And the pained look on her face is just she's trying to get her team going. They've struggled in every aspect of this game, Bob. She's trying to pull them within 11.
She was magnificent down the stretch the other night at LSU, including hitting 2 crunch time free throws to put it away. With the point tonight, she now is in double figures for the first 29 games of her career, and she's got herself her 8th double-double of the year. Foul on Gardler. Her second. And number 5 on UConn here in the second half. The foul at the other end, by the way, was Naughton's 3rd and 6th on DePaul. So Naughton will inbound. Throws it into the backcourt to Mitadero.
Soignier is
making
working
her
her tail off defensively.
The cut to Quigley. Kick out.
If that goes
Smith
in,
for
forget
3.
it.
Rebound Houston.
If that went in, this place would have erupted.
Houston's got 5 rebounds off the bench in limited playing time. Soignier, look at Moore fight for position down low. Houston with the miss. Moore with the offensive rebound. Maybe she should have gone back up with it. Tina Charles spending a lot of time on the bench here in the second half. Here's the steal by Naughton. She'll wait for help. Quigley, pull up 3. Moore could not control the rebound. Houston with another rebound. Houston's been terrific off the bench.
And they need her. They
sure
need
do.
her minutes. UConn tightening up defensively there on the boards. They've got to hold DePaul to only 1 shot. DePaul have cooled off a little bit here shooting the ball last couple minutes.
For the game now shooting 43%. Montgomery with the miss. Caprice Smith with rebound number 6 and the 700th rebound of her career. She just moved into 7th place on the all-time list.
UConn is expending so much energy trying to come back. They all look really tired to me.
This is Natasha Williams drawing the foul. She's wearing a different uniform, number 01, because she got blood on her uniform number 20. And she'll go to the line to shoot a couple. Again, not a good free throw shooter for the season, just 42%. Foul was on Maya Moore, her first and 6th on UConn.
What makes Williams so difficult to defend is that she shoots the ball. You see her shoot that free throw with her right hand, but she shoots it so well inside with her left. You got to guard her both ways, and that's difficult.
Let me correct myself. It was not a foul on Moore. It's foul number 3 on Houston, and that's trouble. So Williams knocks it down, lead back up to 13 with 9 minutes to go. So DePaul has outscored UConn by a point through the first 11 minutes of the second half. Huskies have won 22 of their last 24 Big East games on the road. Montgomery, deep 3.
I tell you, the Huskies needed that, as did Renee Montgomery.
She's got 16. Her second 3 of the night and 55th of the year.
So you got to be careful against a team with someone like Quigley as they commit the foul. If you don't steal the ball in the pressure, the last thing you want to do is give up a 3, and DePaul is so good at shooting from long range. Sometimes they make you pay for pressing them.
First foul on Montgomery, and that's 7 on UConn. So DePaul will spend the rest of the game at the free throw line, and again Quigley is a lights out free throw shooter, 85%.
Interestingly, DePaul only 68% from the line as a team. So the last person you want to foul on Doug Bruno's team is number 14.
9th best in the Big East in free throw shooting out of 16 teams. Oh, Quigley actually missed one. Rebound Houston. Charles back in the game, by the way, for the Huskies. She's got 3 fouls. Dixon. Montgomery around the screen, around another screen, fires. Moore kept the rebound alive, and Montgomery
good hustle.
Out hustles Pikes to get it.
DePaul has completely taken away UConn's inside game.
Yep, they sure have. And that's a UConn inside game. That's the reason they won the other night at LSU. Montgomery misses the shot. Houston looked like she might have been fouled from behind. Moore with the steal. Dixon, Montgomery spins. Rebound put back Houston.
Houston has done so many good things here this evening.
Now the lead all of a sudden in single digits, down to 9. This is the closest it's been here in the second half. 7:44 remaining. UConn ranked #1 in the country this week for the 9th time in the last 10 weeks. They began the year with 21 straight wins, then lost to Rutgers. They've won 6 in a row since that loss. Shot clock at 2. Down low, and Moore with the steal. Here comes Dixon. And watch Moore run the lane to the left. Houston baseline. Moore's wide open. They don't get it to her. Now they get it to her down low. Tough catch and finish.
How did that ball get there? I have no idea.
Timeout, Doug Bruno. The lead is down to 7. UConn trailed by as many as 17. Since then, they have outscored DePaul 18-8. Maya Moore with a double-double right to the year. UConn has cut a 17-point lead to 7, and Doug Bruno might have been saying in his huddle to his team, Houston is giving us a problem.
Well, here, a crazy shot from Montgomery. No one boxed out on the weak side, and Sharday Houston elevated and finished in the air, and now she's got herself a well-deserved break with 8 points, 7 rebounds. They're going to need her back. Yeah, they're going to need her back. Oh, turn around.
And look at Moore like a free safety with the steal and 3. Could not stay down.
That would have been an incredible boost for UConn.
It would have been a dagger for the Blue Demons. Last touch by DePaul. Now all of a sudden you can see the intensity of the UConn players.
Well, you can,
did not see it early.
You can see a different energy about themselves here. It's taken a while. Let's see what happens the last 7 minutes.
This is now a media timeout. It's been 9 years since UConn lost to an unranked opponent. They're losing to unranked DePaul by 7. Megan, at halftime, you asked Chris Daly, how come Maya Moore played so little in the first half? What was her answer? Something effective.
Weren't you watching the game?
Well, Maya had 3 points, 8 rebounds at the half. She now has 12 points and 13 rebounds for the game. And a 17-point lead has been trimmed to 7. 6:48 remaining. UConn still has plenty of work to do. Moore, ball fake, pull up.
I mean, that is just a big-time shot. It was only 2, but she elevated, man. She is legit.
UConn really making DePaul work to beat the press. Naughton got it up. Here's Quigley to Midadero.
Quigley just so calm and poised.
Yep. Cool, calm, and collected. Shot clock now at 10. Naughton works away on Soignier, who will be called for the block. And I don't know whether that was a block or not, but Ray Bomley was right in front of the play and did not blow his whistle.
Well, and
Michelle St. Pierre was in front of Doug Bruno and did.
One of a couple calls here that she's made from across the way.
Don't misunderstand me. If you're the official, you think you see a foul, you're allowed to blow your whistle. But normally it's the one that's closer that will make the call. 3 on Soignier, 8 on the team. As Naughton knocks down the first free throw. The last UConn loss to an unranked opponent, Arizona State, December 21st, 2004. That is an 82-game winning streak against unranked opponents. DePaul is not ranked, and they lead by 7.
I would look for Maya Moore to get more involved here offensively. You got to find her. She's got to touch the ball every possession.
Dixon at the 6-minute mark. Charles fighting for position down low. Really going at it with Natasha Williams. Double teamed by Carney. Soignier with the blow by.
That's a great take. Quigley did a good job of flaring out to guard Montgomery to take away the 3. Montgomery read it, or rather Soignier read it and finished.
A near steal. Naughton. Reversal to Quigley, who will bring it across and dribbles right by Moore.
That's what a good team will do to you against the press if you don't steal it.
23 for Quigley, her 12th 20-point game of the season. And 2 of those 12 were 30-point games. Montgomery for 3. Got it.
That's another dagger. DePaul was in a 2-3 zone there. Wide open in the corner was Renee Montgomery.
19 for Montgomery. The lead, which was 17 once, is down to 4. Naughton goes around the Natasha Williams screen.
There, you know, the Huskies getting a little bit too crazy with this pressure. A little frantic, and DePaul doing a really nice job of staying calm and making them pay.
17 points for Naughton, all off the bench. Charles, ball fake, puts it on the floor, and will draw the foul on Williams, her second, and number 7 on DePaul.
And one thing you got to think of with Tina Charles, and we've said this all season long, she's got to get a better look at the end than just throwing it up at the rim like that and hitting the backboard.
So to the line will go Charles. Not a good free throw shooter, only 57.7%.
We've talked all year that if they and they've gotten much better from the line, but this is where it comes back to get you.
They really have, and they had a long way to come to get to this point. UConn now the 203rd best free throw shooting team in the country, but for a long time they were below the 300 mark.
Sounds so pathetic when you say it like that.
Entered the game shooting 67.5%.
Wow.
And tonight they've knocked down 11 of 18.
And Sharday Houston comes in replacing Tina Charles. Interesting substitution with 4:42 to play.
Houston and Charles each with 3 fouls. Houston going at it down low with Williams. Really physical battle away from the play.
The one player you can't let shoot is Quigley.
Yep. She can create her own shot off the dribble. Shot clock down to 5. You don't want to foul this late in the possession. Quigley catch and fire. Air ball. Great defensive possession for the Huskies.
And
4 minutes left.
Lauren Dixon did a good job too of keeping a DePaul player on her back.
And we're going to get a timeout. Gino Auriemma wants to run something here. He wants to diagram something in the huddle and see his team execute. They were down 17. They're down 4 now.
What a great game we have for you. So fitting, the last night of the year for Connecticut Public Television, and we have got a barn burner. And now we are asking you to do your part. If you have enjoyed every thrill, all of the great achievements of this team, and so much expectation as we go into the postseason, then go to your telephone right now. We signed 4 more years tonight. We are going to be here for the very long foreseeable future. So go to your telephone right now, won't you? Thank you.
Well, Megan, I asked Doug Bruna the other day, you coach Maya Moore. Has she done anything this year that has surprised you? He said, absolutely not.
Well, there, Megan Gardler created that opportunity, Moore there to finish. And this, the Huskies just get lucky with that ball sneaking in. Moore there to finish. And there, I love this play. The power dribble there to the left, and then elevating up strong. She's gotten this team going here late in the second half.
Let's see what Gino Auriemma diagrammed in the huddle. Tina Charles back in the game with UConn on offense. Soignier is out. 4 minutes remaining. Dixon, bounce past Charles, ball fake, and the foul. The lead is down to 2.
And Maya Moore, very vocal in the huddle there. I love that. But what a great pass from the freshman Dixon to the sophomore Charles.
Here's our media timeout. UConn trailed by 17 with 14:26 to go. When we come back, Charles at the line could cut it to 1. High school championships, dreams of a lifetime are made in them. Charles at the line. Since falling behind by 17, UConn has outscored DePaul 29-14. Make it 30-14, and the 17-point lead is down to 1.
You know, we've talked about Tina Charles, how she struggled from the line. Some big free throws she's hit here in the last couple minutes.
Charles will remain in the game for this defensive set. Soignier is the one on the bench now. Dixon, Montgomery, Houston, Moore, and Charles. And Charles and Houston combined for the steal. Poor decision to throw that ball up the court. UConn with a chance to take the lead. They trailed by 17 with 14:24 left. Down to 3.5 minutes. Charles really fighting for position down low with Williams, who looks like her hand is killing her.
Keeps grabbing her hand, yeah.
She's got a look of pain on her face. 3 for Montgomery.
Oh, you're not supposed to get that kind of roll on the road.
It's a 33-14 run, which has given UConn the lead after trailing by 17. Naughton.
What a tough shot.
That's a 2.
By Deirdre Naughton.
Well, it comes down to this. It's like a do-over. First 37 minutes don't matter. It's who wins the last 3 that's going to walk out of here with a victory.
Let's see who's mentally tough.
Dixon seeing some major minutes. Here's to Montgomery. Moore around the screen, catch and shoot. Back rims it. Rebound Naughton at the 2:40 mark. DePaul looking to push it. The important defensive assignment here, Montgomery getting Quigley and giving away about 4 inches in that matchup. Around
Montgomery looks tired to me.
Quigley blocked by Charles.
What a block.
10 seconds on the shot clock.
Miscommunication. They got to find Smith.
Shot clock at 4. Quigley gets a step on Moore for the runner.
The savvy senior beating the freshman.
On a switch, Moore picked her up. Doug Bruno down on one knee, pounding the floor to encourage his team to play defense.
He's
Timeout,
fired up,
Ariema.
baby. He should be. His kids are playing great.
Again, DePaul has never beaten the #1 ranked team in the country in its history. And right now, the Blue Demons, who led by 17, then saw that lead completely eliminated with 3:20 remaining, have now regained the lead by 2 with 2:05 left.
And Quigley with 25 points in her last game here at home, going out in a blaze of glory.
We'd like to continue our thanks, our statistician throughout the year for UConn basketball, Ed DePremio, our stage managers, Paul Smith and Steve Irwin, and our technical directors, Chris Pastor, Michelle Schlickman, and Paul Willis. To each of them, we say thank you.
Tell you, it doesn't get much better than this.
Maya Moore to inbound on the side. 2:05 remaining. The #1 ranked team in the country, UConn, has won 82 straight games against unranked opponents. They trailed by 17 in this one. They took a 2-point lead with 3:30 to go. Now they trail by 2. Here's Houston on the right.
I see indecision out there.
Shot clock at 8. Down low Moore. Impossible catch.
I don't know how she caught that ball.
And we're tied at 74 with 1:40 to go. DePaul is so good at executing in the half-court set.
And we were talking before the game, Bob. Defense in championships wins games. Let's see if the Huskies, defense and rebounding rather, wins championships.
Each team with 2 timeouts left. Minadero to Quigley.
Swanier got away with a foul.
Deep
there.
3, Quigley, air ball. UConn ball, tied at 74, 1:20 remaining.
Okay, and it's all about putting things together there. Huskies forced that miss to Doug Bruno's chagrin now. They got to convert on this end.
Here's Swanier to walk it up the floor. Man-to-man for DePaul. The key assignment, Naughton trying to stay with Moore. Montgomery guarded by Quigley. 1 minute remaining, tied at 74. Montgomery, the runner, hit the bottom of the backboard. Rebound Quigley with 55 seconds left. Doug Bruno's going to get a timeout here. He's going to want to call something. And he does such a good job in this situation. Running a play, and he wants the full timeout. This is going to be a heck of a play. He wants the full timeout.
Absolutely. Well, Gino Ariema looked at his kids a little bit disappointed between Moore and Montgomery with what they ended up with.
Now, Quigley is so good, Megan, with and without the basketball. Let's see which of the 2 options Doug Bruno elects to go with to try to set her up out of the timeout without the ball or with it. But you got to figure somewhere in this possession, number 14 is going to get a shot.
And you definitely, that's the first option. But the thing you got to remember, she's such a great passer. You know, you can look for her to dump it down low to Williams, who has been so effective all night long. They've got so many options offensively. She's clearly the first one, but what makes her such a dangerous scorer is that she's almost a better passer.
What's at stake here? A share of first place in the Big East heading into the final game of the season on Monday. Rutgers won earlier today, leads UConn by a half game. Obviously, if DePaul pulls off the upset, Rutgers will have a 1-game lead with 1 to go on Monday night. There's the rest of the standings, and those 4 teams at the bottom have been eliminated. They will be the 4 teams who will not make the Big East tournament starting next Saturday in Hartford. Even if UConn loses tonight and beats Rutgers on Monday, they would share the Big East title, but UConn would get the tiebreak and the #1 seed because of its win over 3rd place West Virginia, a team which Rutgers lost to. Here we go. DePaul with the ball, tied with 48 seconds left.
I like Sharday Houston getting the nod inside for the Huskies.
Man-to-man defense. Montgomery is on Quigley, who is playing off the ball. Now
Nice
she
back
cuts, gets it. Montgomery stays with her.
How about that crossover dribble? How
There you go.
about that crossover dribble?
DePaul by a pair with 30 seconds left. Quigley's got 27 points. Now it's Gino Auriemma's turn to diagram a play in the huddle.
I mean, that's what you want your senior leader. And as Doug Bruno told me before the game, Quigley is one of the most special players he's ever been around. Got to be one of the biggest shots in her career. There, the great crossover dribble against a terrific defender in Renee Montgomery. But I've been saying, see, Montgomery went for the steal. And Montgomery's been off tonight. I think she's looked tired. I said it earlier. But you know what will make you tired? Having to guard someone like Allie Quigley.
Right. Will Quigley's 1,995th and 96th points result in the biggest DePaul win in its regular season history. They have never beaten a #1 ranked team in the country. There's the timeout situation.
And then they get the ball on a jump.
Of course, UConn has lots of options. Maya Moore, 5th leading scorer in the league, 22 points tonight. 16 points tonight. Montgomery's got 22. Charles 15. Houston also a very capable offensive player. So it's pick your poison for DePaul. Last time down, the Blue Demons played man-to-man. Let's see who gets Maya Moore this time.
You know, the question is, do you go for 3 in the win, or do you go for 2 in overtime?
Well, the one thing UConn can't do is play for 1. Down by 2. They have to get a shot off, and with plenty of time left for a potential offensive rebound.
And I love it. DePaul hitting the floor, saying we are here to play defense.
Quigley's on Montgomery. Naughton guarding more in the inbound. And Bob Trammell and Ray Baumley, I don't know why in the world officials would have a moment of indecision with 26 seconds left in a 2-point game. Coming out of a timeout, no less. So there's Trammell, the lead official, discussing things with both coaches, who, oh, by the way, are very good friends. They had dinner last night on Rush Street. Now Ray Baumley coming over and discussing things with the 3rd official, Michelle St. Pierre.
Now he's looking at Doug Bruno the whole time.
Oh, whatever it was, neither coach looks upset. They both smile at each other. Gino still smiles. All right, UConn ball down 2, again at stake, among other things, an 82-game winning streak against unranked opponents. If UConn loses tonight, they cannot win the Big East title outright. And they have won 15 Big East regular season titles in their history. Here's Swanya. 24 seconds left, defended by Sierra Johnson. Moore to Houston. 18 seconds left. Montgomery blocked by Quigley. And Montgomery will be, no, they're going to call Quigley for the foul, which means Montgomery will be shooting 3. And she's a 78.5% free throw shooter.
Quigley's 4th foul.
Very rarely do you see a foul committed on someone attempting a 3. Montgomery from the line tonight, Meg, is 4 of 5.
And Bruno's got a good point. He's trying to say the foul was called after. It should be a 1-and-1. He's got a good point there.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm not that surprised with the fatigue that I've seen on Montgomery all game.
So Montgomery will be unable to give UConn the lead. Now she's got to knock down the last 2 for the tie. And DePaul will get the ball back. They'll have the final opportunity in regulation. And Doug Bruno already said he's going to want to call the timeout right here.
He wants to ice Montgomery.
Well, and also I think what he wants to do is he wants to set up the play in the event she misses. Wants to make sure they know what he wants them to do if they miss this free throw.
And then, should she make it, he's obviously devising a last shot for the win.
He's at a timeout. This is his last timeout. DePaul could very possibly meet UConn again in the quarterfinals of the Big East tournament 1 week from tomorrow in Hartford. UConn will get an opening round bye. DePaul will almost certainly meet Marquette in the opening round. Those two teams will likely finish 8 and 9. Could happen in either order. Each team has a game left. And the number 1 seed will meet the winner of the 8-9 game in the quarterfinals. And UConn can still be the number 1 seed. If UConn wins tonight, well, bottom line is if UConn wins Monday, UConn will be the number 1 seed, regardless of what happens tonight. Here's Montgomery. Needs to make this one for the tie. And missed it.
She was tight.
She missed 2 of 3.
Tight.
Ball loose. Comes at DePaul with 10. Moore stole the ball and calls timeout with 7 seconds left. She knew they had 1 timeout left.
You know, you got to give a lot of credit, certainly to Maya Moore, for running that down and creating that. The ball's going to be on the end line. The Huskies got to go the length of the floor. But I think a lot's got to go to Sharday Houston, who created that. But there, Maya Moore, just the hustle play and the presence of mind to know that she had 1 timeout. Good job by the UConn staff to let them know how many timeouts they had. And Mitadero just didn't know that Moore was coming on her back.
I wonder if Mitadero would have been better off if she veered to the right. She looked like she wanted to take it to the hoop to ice it.
She did, and I do, and I don't think, especially with how loud it is in here, she had no idea.
All right, if you're Gino Auriemma, whose number do you call? 23, 31, or 20?
Well, you know what? I say you give it to someone like maybe Soigné, just dribble the length of the floor. She's the fastest player, and go for a layup because DePaul does not want to foul.
UConn down 1, no timeouts left, 7 seconds left. Houston to Soigné. Here we go. With 5. Races it into the court with 3. Shot with 1.6. No timeouts for DePaul. Here's the inbound. It's coming our way. Steal, Houston. Her foot was on the line. DePaul ball with 0.3. And you better believe they're going to go check the monitor to make sure they have the time left correct. You would think.
And Gino is just joking around with Bob Trammell. And the coaching staff is trying to say, get down there and guard Williams down low in case the ball is getting inbounded here.
Now Ray Bomley is signaling. I got to tell you, Bob Trammell's the lead official, and the other official was the one who said, why don't we check the time? Should be the other way around.
Absolutely.
And Bob Trammell again, I mean, you know, we don't mean to pick on the guy. He was the guy that made the call or non-call at the end of the Tennessee-Rutgers game, where clearly the clock for some reason stopped, and it appeared that the foul was committed in that game after time expired. And they never checked the replay in that situation. He was one of the officials down in Knoxville. And as a result, Tennessee made 2 free throws to win the game to beat Rutgers on a foul which appeared to be committed after time had
And I
expired.
tell you what, everyone who watched that game, people certainly around the Big East, it's a sin that Rutgers lost that game as we watch this unbelievable play by Soigné. Look at that.
Good call there, partner. For Soigné.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you know, she's the fastest one with the ball. And you have to remember, in these situations, the defensive team, in this case DePaul, they don't want to commit a foul.
I'll tell you what.
And
Did
quickly,
you see in that replay?
you know
She
what?
stepped on the end line.
I thought that when the ball was being inbounded. I wondered, wow, is that a violation? And let's see if they actually look at that.
Well, I don't think they
Bob
can.
Trammell was not looking down.
I don't think they can reverse it. You're not allowed, I don't believe. The rules do not allow you to reverse a call like that if you discover afterwards that they stepped on the line. Now, clearly the call should have been violation. UConn ball.
She did step on the line.
But now what they're doing is setting the time right, and they're gonna add more time. It says 0.3, and clearly they're going to add some because there was more than 0.3. when the ball went out of bounds. And it will be DePaul ball on the side. No timeouts left. There is time for a catch and shoot, but it's going to be a long shot. If that's what they elect to do, a more likely option would be to throw the ball deep into the forecourt.
Yeah,
they're not going to even guard the inbound pass.
Absolutely. Maya Moore kind of playing center field.
Yep.
You got to watch Quigley.
Right, they're anticipating Quigley cutting around the Midodero screen, and then Moore would pick her up.
Watch for the big guys.
The back door to Quigley. Moore was up to break it up. It will be DePaul ball, and they may put time back on the clock again, and rightfully so. I mean, that's what the monitor's there for. You check the monitor.
And I got to tell you, reading Bob Trammell's body language, he seems irritated that he's got to go check this monitor again.
I think the ball went out of bounds before the clock hit 0. And there they go again. Look at it.
Let's take a look. I mean,
UConn defended that very well. Moore went up, broke it up without committing a foul.
There's at least a second. I would say there's at least a second.
There was 1.1 when the play began. The clock doesn't start till the ball is touched.
That's right.
So there you go. Looked like maybe with 0.6. So now all they can do is redirect the inbound pass.
And anything is possible.
Right. There's not going to be time. There's not going to be time to catch it and shoot it. There's only going to be time.
And you know what?
Redirect the pass to the basket.
And the scary part is, with the 6'3" Natasha Williams in there, anything is possible.
Charles will try to make the inbound pass as tough as possible, spreading her 6'4" wings. Quigley guarded by Montgomery. Fake into the lane. Pikes.
Oh,
they got a shot off.
Goodness.
And Doug Bruno wants a foul. He's not going to get it. DePaul loses an absolute heartbreaker.
I tell you, that
absolute heartbreaker.
That man, UConn stole a win coming out of here. They did what they had to do down the stretch, but they were outplayed for most of that game.
UConn's 28th win of the season, easily its most memorable one. And what it does is it sets up a winner-take-all in the Big East on Monday night on national television. UConn 14-1, Rutgers 14-1. The winner will be the Big East champion. The loser will be the #2 seed. We'd like to say so long to our viewers in Chicago on CLTV. Thank you for joining us. For our viewers on Connecticut Public Television in Connecticut, we'll be back to wrap things up following UConn's thrilling victory.
Wow.